Welcome to Boggy Creek Life. I am your host, Cam Boggs. I know I haven't posted a video in a while. Been kind of busy, a little bit in a slump. Plus, I was just doing other things. I had a visit from my lady from Ohio. Took like a week's vacation kind of thing. And just been handling stuff, No mail calls, no grail calls. I haven't received anything in a while. I haven't ordered anything. But I figured to go ahead and try to put together a video for you guys. I got minimal work done on the Pumpkinhead Ed Harley. And I did get these new meta glasses for Christmas. And I'm going to try to record some video footage with these and see how it turns out. So I actually, work on the stuff right in front of me and record it with the glasses. And they have the microphone built in, and they're really pretty cool. I like to thank my lady. She got them for me. So with all that said and put aside, let's go ahead and check out what we got going on with Ed and Pumpkinhead. Okay, so this is what we got. As you can see, it's still in pieces, but I did accomplish this, and it fits roughly. It was pretty rough fitting anyway, but that's okay. So what I did was, in hopes of selling this when it's done, I wanted to be able to break it down for shipping purposes. So I drilled a hole, created a pin, inserted magnets. Holds pretty good. Those are pretty strong magnets, but you see it still has wobble. So what I'm wanting to do is I'm going to try to take some Aves and extend the skin into like a sleeve, so it will stop the wobble, cover the seam, hopefully be barely noticeable, and you'll be able to still take it apart. And if that doesn't work, then I'll just cover it with Aves and we'll go from there. Okay, so what I've done so far is I just put some plastic wrap around the end of this because I really don't want the Aves to adhere to it yet. Well, at all really. But what I'm going to try to do is see if I can sturdy that by filling this in before I commence to making the sleeve. I have my 2 equal parts of Aves. You can see mine is a few years old. Hopefully this will still work. I have some new if this don't work, but got your part A, your part B, and you want to knead them thoroughly. For those of you in the hobby, you already know these things. And for those of you who don't, it's 2-part epoxy clay. No baking required, just time. There's people that make sculptures out of this, and I don't know how, because after a couple hours, to me, it's like, but some people carve, I guess, out of it or something. So we'll get back as soon as I get done kneading this. Okay, so we about got it mixed up. I've got my Vicks Vapor Rub for smoothing. I also have this that I bought, the Aves Safety Solvent. It says recommended for smoothing, seamlessly feathering, texturing, and tooling Aves epoxy. Fix-It products, works great with others, removes fingerprints, residue, cleans tools, brushes, yada yada yada. Basically does everything but cook your dinner. I haven't tried this stuff yet. Obviously it's still in the bag. I may try it when like working on skin texture or something, but right now we're just doing some rough stuff, so this will work. I always make way too much By the way, when you guys watch this, leave in the comments if you like this new way of filming. I know that the zoom, the glasses don't have a zoom capability, so I'm really holding this like close to my face for you to see it this close. But it's really a bit more convenient, I would say, than setting cameras up over here and whatnot. And I know there's a little bit of head movement. I'll try to keep a conscious thought on controlling that. Okay, so I do want it to adhere to this part. Don't want to cover the magnets. Just trying to fill in the space. So there's going to be a bit of smashing going on. I wear gloves when messing with this stuff. Some people don't, and the people I've seen that don't get really cracked and jacked up hands. I mean, my hands are already cracked enough because I work on cars with no gloves during the day. But yeah, I mean, their hands split and stuff. But I mean, you know, that's on you. If that's the route you want to take and you feel better, that's it. So I'm going to work this around the outside of the magnet. Maybe make it maybe not even put it there at the top. Around the edge there. Pinch it off. Build it up a little. These glasses too, they only record for 3-minute intervals. So you may see a lot of cuts. They're making updates to them all the time, but I don't know if it'll ever, like that. Like I was just saying, you may get several little breaks, and it'll pick right back up. But it only does 3-minute segments at a time. But I know most people don't like long videos anyway, so it kind of falls into that. Alright, so let's see how that fits. See if we can smash that together. Give it a good wiggle. Really get her in there. Take it back. Shave some of that off the magnet. Sorry if the camera tilts up like that sometimes, because these are prescription lenses too, and I have the progressive lenses, so when I'm trying to look at something closer, I have to kind of look through the bottom of the glasses. It should be interesting for painting when I have to put on the jeweler's magnifying glasses for you know, working on eyeballs and whatnot. We'll see what that looks like eventually. These would be really cool if you had a big social media presence. You can post directly to your Facebooks and your Instagrams and go live and all that stuff right from the glasses. You make phone calls, text messages, everything. Best Christmas present I've got as an adult in a while. Okay, well, it seems like right there it's wanting to stop the wobble already. We're going to go ahead and shave some of this back. Cut off some of it. Because we're really not wanting to work on our texturing or anything yet. We're just create stability. Give it a little mash in there, fill it in. I like the sculpting things. I used to do it in high school. Just there's no Seems like there's no time for this stuff in the adult world when you have to have a real job. So my motto is going to be, I'm an artist that died never getting to be an artist. But, oh well. I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there like me. I am nothing special. That good old Vicks right there is helping the old nose. Even though I'm in South Florida, it's a little chilly right now. Now, I know not compared to the rest of the country up north. But when you're used to 80, 90, sometimes over 100 degrees, and it drops down to the low 70s, 60s, and 50s. When you get climatized to that and it does that, well, you feel like you're freezing to death. Alright, so it seems like we got that. We're going to push that down in there a little bit. Get her down in there. Try to level her out some. Scrape that a little bit back off. And over here. Push that down in there. And by the way, I have never done this before. So we are checking this out together. Some of you are probably laughing at me that know what the hell you're doing. But I asked a lot of people a lot of things when I started doing this, and sometimes I still do occasionally. And everybody in this hobby was nice to answer my questions, and well, now it's time for me to start figuring stuff out on my own. Unless it's something I'm just really, really baffled by. Now, if there was a chance of screwing this up where I wouldn't be able to fix it or build it, I might ask somebody. But, it'll either just be one piece or it'll work. One of the two. I'm going to take a little bit of the Vicks there. Thin out the edges. Smooth her down. Get that little bit of extra stuff off. Don't want. Alright, well, it doesn't freely wobble like it used to. Let's see if what happens if I go to pull it off there. Well, you know what? I don't think. Alright. I'm going to just leave it. I'm going to let it dry like that. I think the plastic may peel off of it. If it doesn't, I really don't see it being a problem anyway. So we're going to let that dry. We'll come back, separate it, check it out, and go from there. Okay, so that's set up overnight. Still got a little wiggle to it. But when we put the stuff around it, the sleeve should stop that. Went ahead and made up some clay already. Going to keep using this instead of that for now because I stick with what I know. Nothing fancy. Got a few various tools out that I thought I could recreate some skin textures with, various sizes. Going to try to go with the muscle with the fat part on this end and the small blend on this end. So we'll start out right here. I don't think it's going to take much. You've got an oblong kind of seed-shaped muscle there. You can't take it back past the curve in because then it'll lock. So and you know, the good thing about epoxy sculpt is you don't have to do it all at once. The jar says, which one was of this one. 30 minutes sticky, 1 to 2 hours, easy to work with, which I don't know. I guess it all depends on how you like to work. 2 to 3 hours setting up formidable detail. I don't seem to get as much time out of that. I guess I like my clay a little softer. I don't know. But I still don't have to finish it all at once, so. Getting the general shape of that muscle. Let's see which tool I want to use. I guess I'll try to do a little blending with this curve tool first. Usually, cut some of this off. Because like I said, I don't want it to go down past in there, past the curve. Usually, you can cover up the blend line with a good coat of primer. I don't want to primer this super heavy because I don't want to get rid of the details in the sculpt. But fortunately, this is a bigger sculpture, so the details are a bit more prominent. More worried about the end down here because this will get more added to it around that way. I'm trying to take it down just a little, match it up. So I don't want this to seem like a lump, you know. Well, I think if I do pull this off, it's going to take me a minute. The arms I'm going to try to magnetize some way where they just stick in, and the head will probably be permanently attached. The tail will probably have to be something like this. And I don't know about Ed yet. Haven't gotten that far. I just keep going, dragging it a little bit. See, it starts to curve down. I'll cut a little more of that off. It's getting thinner as we go, which could create another problem. You know, things could get brittle. But the key too is also not leave it a hard line like that. Go in with a smaller tool, maybe this one. Yeah, break up that hard line. Texture's going this way. So we really just want that to be up over the edge. And once again, I am not a professional sculptor, obviously. Did a little bit of it in high school. We never had no epoxy sculpt. It was water-based clay. throw in a kiln, which made life lots of fun. And any of this stuff that I know is all via people I've asked in the internet. And I think I read the first half of Pop Sculpture, and then when I when I got to the molding part, I'm kind of a hands-on kind of guy, and the molding just confuses shit out of me with all the little draining things, and you know, so you can make sure that the resin and whatever gets in there. I can't even remember what you call them, but I never finished it. I don't have much patience. I kind of want to know what I want to know, and I want to know it now, and left to my own left to myself, I will take the shortest route, easiest route possible. So I'll go ahead and try to put some of these in now, just so they stay across the top. Try to run it into some existing ones. I guess the whole point is if you want to learn how to do stuff, you can't be scared. You're not going to succeed every time. And I keep putting some of this Vicks on there. That tool gets dry kind of quick. Starts tearing instead of tooling. That looks horrible. Let's see if we can, where's a big tool. Here we go. We can dent this in a little bit. Match up with that muscle line, that muscle line there. Trying to camouflage our work, make it look like we never been there. Like I said, I'm more worried about the top than anything, because this is going to get stuff pushed up against it. Let's go ahead and see about tackling this one. Get some of that off of there. We don't have too bad of an arch there from the side. I mean, he's a monster, so, you know, nothing's set in stone. Obviously, you want to try to stay, out of respect for the artist and the original creature designer, you know, as close as possible as you can. Wrap this around. You'll have to cut a lot of that off. Yeah, That might be just too much. Try not to let this wiggle too much, even though it's got that little bit of play in it. Because I don't want the edges to come out looking loose. Cut that out of there a little bit. Let's see, we may have a little predicament here. Things have to maintain out to slide back over. Cut that off. Cut some of this off. Another big thing too is not to get into a rush. I'm afraid of this down here. Let's get back in there with our tool. I can't remember how this rubber tool works. Probably like shit. It looks pretty cheap. Oh yeah, it don't do nothing. It's good for maybe smoothing. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and knock this out. Plus the glasses are telling me the battery's low for some reason. I don't understand why, because I just pulled them out of the charger after sitting all night. But you've seen the basic idea with this little piece. I'm going to go ahead and knock this out off camera. Maybe a little more. If I get into it, maybe the whole thing. And we'll see how it looks. Okay, so I got it, went all the way around, got it all done. It was, the bottom part was a little bit rough. The clay started to dry up on me, getting really stiff anyway. So we're got that locked down pretty tight. Hopefully it stays that way. Tried not to go past any of the downward lumps in the muscle so it wouldn't get like locked on there. We'll let that dry and see what we got. Alrighty, we'll be back in a day. Okay, so Happy New Year's everybody. It's New Year's morning. We're recording this. So what I'm going to do before I epoxy these together is I'm going to go ahead and mark out the pin for this one, because it still needs pin no matter what I'm doing here. Alright, so let's go ahead and get that done. I don't know if there's multiple ways to do this or not, but let me go ahead and take this one off, might make it easier. I'm going to get it where I think it'll be the best match. Mark this here. doesn't matter. You're gonna have overhang on one side or the other. I really don't know what the decision was. The deciding factor, this mother, to cut this mid-thigh. But yeah, want to get them close as possible. This is gonna suck because I gotta move my fingers. Alrighty, now only thing I can figure out how to do is take a ruler and draw from line to line, put the pin where they intersect. See, and that one's bad because it's way off center. So we're gonna go ahead and get rid of that one. Slap him back together real quick. Put that clear over here, where we get into the meat of the resin. Middle, instead of off the edge where you could chip it. And as always, leave in the comments how you do this. And hopefully they will come out close. I'm gonna go ahead and cut our pin. I gotta be plenty, about 3/4 of an inch or something. The lineman's pliers here. Hopefully it don't shoot off across the room. And we're going to take this outside because this becomes a mess. We'll go ahead and drill the hole and get back at you. I figured I'd just record this part of the process too, in case you're new to building or whatever. So obviously you want your pin from the same diameter as your drill bit. Alright, now let's take it outside. Okay, so in a perfect world, you want, to split your rod, half of it in each part. So you at least want to go, looks like, maybe around 1/4, half an inch deep on each part. And you want to try to drill it straight as the part adjoining. So like the leg is going this way, you want to try to get it in there straight. Try to center it on your mark. Maybe make a little indentation to keep you there till you get going. This stuff drills pretty easy. Clean off your bit, see what you got going. We're pretty close. Feels like we might be going a little crooked. Try to straighten it out a little. Kind of try to take a glance. Always be careful. You want to have this slip into the palm of your hand. Or drill all the way through. It doesn't take much pressure. Let's see, let's bag it out and see how much we got. So that should be plenty for the one side. Take it, test it. Oh yeah. So we got that much buried in there. If you want, you can pull it out a little bit when you glue it or whatever. Should be good to hook. Now, the tricky part, to line that up. So you can see it's a little crooked. I got a little play. There's a little bendability in this. A little. That's why I said I don't know if this is obviously not the best way to do it. I imagine in a perfect world you will want both of these sides to be perfectly flat. So maybe if we try just going to go with what we know here. Straight. Try to get a little dent started in it first. This one here I gotta be a little more careful with, a little thinner. I don't want to slip and put this in my hand. Happy New Year's. You can see it come out a little offset. Nothing too terrible, but there we go. Got a barb on that or something. Bring it just a little bit. We're fairly close on the other side. What I'm going to do is just mark this with my finger. I'm going to hold it right there. Maybe. That side doesn't want to come out. Take my pliers. Hold it right there. And I think I got another pair of pliers here. Some smaller ones maybe. Yeah. And I'm going to try to tweak this just a little bit. These are some small ass pliers. Tweak it just a little there and make it fit a little better. Let's see what I try to keep it in the same spot. And close the gap a little bit. A little. But we're going to go with that. Because if I want to, I could take the Dremel and knock some of that down. I probably won't even do that. I'll just cover it up when I sculpt it. Like I said, I sculpted that. It came out pretty well and consistent with the original sculpture. So, you know, fortunately, God blessed me with a little bit of sculpting skills. Okay, so what we're going to do is mix our 2-part resin epoxy. Let's get this one back on here. Glue these together. And that's what we'll be stuck with. Where's the head? The head. Okay, and he's still got his face forward, so we're still holding the pose that we're supposed to have, which is all good and dandy. So I'm going to come over here and get the 2-part, says quick setting epoxy, JB Weld. There was another brand I used to use and I couldn't find it anymore, but this is great stuff too. So I'm gonna go ahead and go outside, mix this up, stick it together. I think we'll be all right just leaving it set it dry like that. That little bit ain't gonna make a difference. And let's go get that done, because we want to do this outside because the fumes from this are terrible to have inside your home. Alright, so I'm outside here on where I usually mess stuff up. Got my cup. This 50-50 mix into my experience from all these epoxies. Doesn't take a whole lot because you're going to double it. Oh, there's that smell. Got my trusty stirrer that I've been using since I started this hobby. And I also get like some cheap paint brushes off of like Amazon or whatever, you know, like $2 for a pack of 20 or whatever. And I just reuse them until they're not functioning for the purpose anymore. And then I'll usually take and cut this off and maybe stick a head on there to paint later or something, you know. But you want to make sure you mix this up all nice and good. And it starts to get like a cloudy white look to it. Ew. And a nice strong pungent smell. If you're sensitive to things like that, maybe you should wear a respirator doing this. I'm sure OSHA would probably say something like, yeah. Alright, we're going to do this one first since it's got that little bit of lip to hold it. And clean my stirrer off. Making sure not to let the part with the resin on it touch the table, so it won't be stuck there permanently. I brought out a fresh brush because the resin gets in there a little better. We got a little bigger area to do on this. So I obviously want to get it on my pen. Get it down there in the recess a little bit. I don't think it's going to matter getting on the magnet, as they're really not going to play a role in this anymore. Got a little bit brushed on there. Brush a little bit on the other side. Make sure to drip some down in that hole. I don't want too much because I don't want it to really overflow, but I'm going to end up sculpting this anyways, you know. You can see the whiteness there. I think that means it's getting brittle in that area. Go ahead and slide that on. Alright, so we got that one on there. We'll go ahead and try to hold our pen the way we bent it so we can put it right back in there. I'll put a drop down in yonder. Put our pen back in. We're gonna go ahead. I wore gloves. I don't like just getting this stuff on my hands because it's hard to get off. I have to try to put this on a little thick. Might have to sand some of it off if it oozes out, because we do got a bit of some gaps going on. Yeah, the Aves will help secure it, but we want to make the best bond that we can. We don't want this, you know, coming apart down the road on us. Get it all up on there. Slide that bad Mary in there. Try to line our lines up. We may be off this way, but at least our lines are straight. It'll help with the final product. Our lines are straight for the most part. There we go. And we're going to leave that sit right like that. like that. Let that dry, and that dry. I mean, this says quick dry. I don't know exactly how long, but you know, they say minutes, hour, or something like that. I let this stuff set 24 hours. That's just me. So, Happy New Year's, and I'm going to go enjoy a day of Fallout 4 and Skyrim. Okay, so we already got our clay made up. We're going to go ahead and blend the side I already started first. You can see there's some little gaps in there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the clay. I mean, it's strong though. It's like not crumbling. So I'm going to stick the clay in and kind of push it back underneath there to close them gaps so it doesn't have any like chance to crack or crumble or anything underneath that first. And then I'll let this one dry, and then I'll do this one. That way I can hold this while I'm working on this. And see, I'm just kind of smashing it down into that crevice between his actual leg and the clay that's already there. Get another little piece off here. And we'll lay us another piece in there to try to build up and feather out with. I don't want to bulge, but I don't want to take this too far either if I ain't got to. Try to match up the muscle form structure that's already there. I love sculpting with this clay because of the firmness of it. I just wish it didn't dry so fast. So, if you know something better that I could sculpt with for my style of slowness, hey, leave it in the comments. I would like to maybe sculpt some little pieces to mold and sell, you know, like little reliefs or something. And I know a lot of people sculpt it in these kind of epoxy clays. I'm really wondering how hard it would be to make a mold out of like a monster clay. I'm sure maybe I've tried Super Sculpey, and I know they got different firmnesses of that. I think I just tried the gray. I don't know, I'll have to look into it again. Blend it together. I'm still still reluctant to try that. I don't know why. I smelled it. It kind of smells like an odorless mineral oil. I don't know if that's what it is. A little kind of blending tool here. What did I use last time? Did I use this? Oh, I used the end of that. That muscle fade out in the ripple there. Damn toenail poked me in the chest. So it looks like we're getting her blended in there pretty well. You're not going to be able to tell. Pretty much matches the inside of the muscle over there. Maybe stick just a little piece. Right down in there, because that's kind of rough. Blend it out there a little. There, I like that smoothness a little better. So you can see I'm just keeping my finger moist with my Vicks, trying to work my edges in as best you can. I don't think it's going to turn out perfect because I'm trying to blend it into hard surfaces. And I know primer will help, but I'm still trying to make it least noticeable, however you want to say that, as possible, least noticeable, without primer. I mean, obviously the color, but just the smoothness of the blend. See what we cut our lines in with last time. Was it this thing? I don't know. But we got some deep ass lines. Try to match in with them some. Try to drag some from the existing lines into the clay. Make it blend. Look at the other side for some reference. Got lighter lines on the top. These are kind of heavy, but I thank goodness he is kind of a rough-skinned creature. Gives us a little camouflaging for what we're doing here. I can't even tell where I put wet clay and I didn't. Get some of them to fade out into the original sculpt. Drag them over into these lines. We gotta get a couple here and there that go the other way. The skin ain't perfect. It's really rough to tell until you get some primer on. I hope I got them deep enough. I don't want them too deep either. Okay, so I think we got it pretty close. I mean, you don't see really any like lump dissimulating. Looks like I pretty much fulfilled out the whole muscle structure. Hopefully the blends are good enough. I tried to blend it with the texture, but we really won't know until we hit it with the primer. And you know what, if it's got a few imperfections, it does. I'll be the only one that it drives crazy. So alright, we'll let that dry, check out what it looks like, and we'll do the other one. Okay, so I went ahead and did the other one. I didn't record it because, well, I recorded the one. There's no need for me to record the other. feel like we got a pretty good blend, texture blend. All I did was kind of make clay in the shape of the muscle groups that were already there just to cover the gap, but I had to make it kind of meaty to compensate for this one. But, you know, for an imaginary creature, I think it still looks pretty good. Won't be able to tell. I mean, the primer will be the true tell on the blend, but I mean, nobody will be like, oh, he's an extra thick thigh Pumpkinhead, you know. Going forward, I don't know how the meta glasses are going to work into all this because, I know that the film footage looks way further away than what I really am. I mean, I've literally got my nose like 6 inches away from this right now, and it probably is going to look like it's a foot away. So as far as like detail seeing and painting and stuff, I don't know how to work with that. And the 3-minute video clip part, they only let you record 3 minutes at a time, so it's going to make editing a nightmare, as I'm about to find out here in a minute. Just for even this little shortish video, I probably got like 37 clips. But yeah. So the next step I'm going to do is attach the head. Now I was reading, I may use the meta glasses and like live stream that. I'll see if that's possible from the Boggy Creek Studio Facebook page. And leave in the comments if you'd be interested in watching something like that. I did also look up on Google for like magnetic tubing sleeves. I didn't know if they made it. I guess they do, and wait for the guy to get back to me because I'm not too good on reading the measurements. But I would like to be able to attach a metal pin in here, like say like this, but you know, metal instead, which I have this rod over here, 1/8 inch 3mm, and put a magnetic sleeve up in there so it would just slide in and lock. You know, that would be awesome if possible. If not, I mean, I have some smaller diameter magnets than these. I may have to figure out a way to lock them on there, drill a hole up in there, and do all that. And the tail will have to be magnetic because I want to sell this when I'm done. I want to share my work, and there's no way to ship this all in one piece. You know, I mean, look, the tail is all this. You'd be lucky to get this with the head attached, not to bust into pieces and being mailed. You know, I obviously had to make some kind of styrofoam heat cut, you know, like you get Sideshow collectibles in and stuff like that or something, which you know, would only be fair to the customer because, you know, it's not like I'm going to sell this for $200. And by the way, if you see anything on the channel that I'm building, it's pretty much all for sale if you're interested. But that's just what times are, you know. But anyway, so there we go. Got him on there. Appreciate you guys hanging out for it. Okay, so there's my little sculpting idea slash failure slash fix, do what I could with it. I hope you enjoyed going on that little journey with me. Hopefully I helped somebody that maybe if they don't, you know, interested in the hobby and they don't know how to do this kind of stuff yet. If you just tuned in, you know, I mean, if this is your first episode, thanks for hanging out and watching. Thanks to everybody that hangs out and watches this long, because hardly nobody does according to the statistics. But if you like what you saw, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That'd help immensely. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead next. I'm going to do a little more research. Let me know in the comments if you like these meta glasses, you know, the camera thing. I don't think they're maybe quite perfect for everything. I'm going to check in to see if I can live stream, like I said, and maybe I'll do the head attachment with that through the Boggy Creek page, if I can do it, that way. I have to look into it. I don't know if you got to have a bazillion followers or something to live stream, because I've never really done it or been into it. But anyways, my 53rd birthday was yesterday, January 3rd, and just a shit ton of you wished me happy birthday, and I appreciate it very, very much. It's just great to be around for another year. I was talking to a buddy of mine. I said, 53, it's not like 50 where you join the 50 club, and it's not 55 where you're old enough to get, free breakfast because you're old and discounts. He said, yeah, the 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers ain't so fun. But I'm just happy to be here trying to, do what I do. So once again, thank you all very much for tuning in. Be good to each other and model on.